Hi. Feel better with honey. Just watched a interesting little documentary or whatever. Read a story rather by Politico. Seems they sent a reporter to Vermont to try to dig up the dirt on Bernie Sanders, and it was interesting. Mostly, the content of the story seemed to be the guy being really irritated that he couldn't find anybody to say anything bad about the man. Thought the worst they could find was his son, who's now working for the state, who declined to comment, as did his mother, that Bernie didn't seem to have been married to. In this day and age, it's pretty tame, man. Anyway, I thought it was kind of comical, so I posted it on my Facebook page. Shows they're getting worried. Shows they're getting worried. No doubt about it. I remember back in the day when a hint of scandal like that, well, look, the third speaker resigned while he was indicting Bill Clinton while he was setting up impeachment movements on it, or whatever you call it. It was funny if you look at it. He was found to be guilty of soon to become very public infidelity and fled before the storm, as did the two others before him. So, what happens? I figure 48 hours before Fox gets their teeth in this, because Politico is like a spokes machine for the Coke Mafia. They're funded by one of their multitudinal think tank subsidiary entities, all part of the invisible little communications empire they formed to take over the government of the United States. I mean, that's not bull, it's documented. You can find it in several different places. We are in the middle of a war, and it's big money against the people. Koch brothers literally want to see a semi-feudal situation where everything that the public depends on in time of need is gone. Literally a Hunger Games type society. Why are we letting them do it? I mean, the left is so consistently demonized. I mean, literally, think about it. How How many times have you heard Republicans bemoan the fact that they are picked upon and set upon and demonized by, what does Fox News call it? What's Bill O'Reilly's favorite term? The left-wing extremist media? I don't think he puts it that nicely. You know, but so there they are. If they get caught trying to like defund Homeland Security in order to get an abortion bill passed, which happened not long ago, they immediately cry that they're being painted with a coat of villainy for merely standing up for family values. Bernie has a nice take on Republican family values in his Madison, Wisconsin speech. If you haven't seen at least 2 Bernie Sanders speeches, and if you haven't done any research into the man's past, you really should. You owe it to yourself before you make any kind of political decision in November in 2016. Because as far as I can determine, and I have come across some questionable people in my time and recognize them pretty well, but even doing deep research into the man's past, he was a child of the 60s and 70s. He was in college when all that was going on. He was one of the original Chicago organizers, but didn't get deep enough into it to wind up with his butt in jail. And he has always, one of the first things he did in college was organize a protest against the university because they had segregated student housing. I think, truly, this is a man who has a deep concern for the welfare and rights of those around him, and who has a deep-seated consciousness of the essential fairness and unfairness of the society we live in. I think we need him in the White House. I might be very wrong. But, man, he's the best thing I've seen coming along in the, 55 years I've been interested in politics in this country. I'm so tired of seeing bought and paid for people. I mean, literally, if you want my opinion on Hillary, if you like what we got now, it's going to be more of the same. She'll get more done because I think that there'll be a reflex against current senators and congressmen of the Republican variety who are currently up for re-election in 2016. I sincerely hope that happens, so that we change the complexion of the 2 legislative houses in government. There's not much we can do about the Supreme Court at this point in time, and I stand amazed at what's been done there recently. But then again, they took the mercury ruling out of the EPA emissions control programs, so they can now burn all that high sulfur coal that they haven't been able to sell to China. Does a body good, don't it? I mean, I really would like to have Mitch McConnell's retirement structure. I'd go right out and buy a new Mercedes instead of trying to keep a 36-year-old one running right. But it's just the way this country goes. We can change it if we want to. It takes a little bit of a leap of faith into, oh, nothing I do will make any difference. I'm only one person. My vote doesn't even count. I haven't bothered to vote for years, too. it's becoming apparent even to an idiot that what it takes to change this is going to happen on the internet before the election and at the ballot box during the election, which is why I'm making this friggin' video. Please vote your primary, whatever party you are, whatever state you live in, and please pay attention to your local legislators, the people in your local state legislation. Those are the guys who are doing all the nasty work for the religious right and the extremists down south. They're keeping the Confederacy alive. They've about voted women's health care, as represented by organizations like Planned Parenthood, out of existence south of the Mason-Dixon line, folks. And they're working on the Rust Belt in the Middle West. You know, we got to do something. And we can. We can vote all of these suckers out of office, find people who will work for us, and for God's sake, get Bernie Sanders into the White House. And maybe Elizabeth Warren as VP. Because, man, if they think I had problems with Bernie, she'd be a wonderful VP. She really would. So, start looking around. I posted a thing I found on Medium today about millennials and college graduates living in dire poverty all over the country. And it's the truest goddamn thing that I have seen. I've talked to a lot of people, and I hear this from almost everyone. So, please, think, look around before you make up your mind. Stop watching Fox News. If you're listening to Alex Jones, call your local mental health center and say these 3 words: I need help. Get your head out of your ass and start looking around at the country you live in and the world around it. Because you're part of us, whether you like it or not. Turn off the TV, turn on the internet, get some real news, and go to work. If you don't like getting food stamps, if you don't like the fact that there's never enough money and always more a month, if you're paying on a student loan, for God's sake, my God, that should be a motivation for almost anyone. I haven't owed anyone any money for about 20 years, and I'm blissfully grateful for that. But, you know, if I was just out of college and out there on the street right now, who knows? Burglary looks like a good way to make a living when you can't find a job.